Hey Earth signs, welcome to your October reading. So guys, you heard me right. I'm kind of doing a collective reading in how I'm recording for this month because I am moving. I'm just trying to cut down recording and uploading time so that we can get the messages to you. So I'm starting with Taurus and then I'll go on to Virgo and Capricorn. They are still individual readings. Check the description below for the timestamp if you want to skip to your reading. So if you want Virgo or Capricorn, check the timestamp below. I already began the reading and shuffling and my laptop had was all full, so I had to restart my recording. Luckily, we only just started the reading, so I've already laid for you Taurus. So Taurus, let's begin. So we start with a reverse card, which with the Archangel Michael card. So because I'm moving, it's the only deck that I actually have out that's not packed away. In reverse, it's saying pay attention to these specific cards, which our first column is pretty much all reverse. It's like pay attention. We have keep your eyes on your targeted intention, sorry. Definitely saying keep your eye on the bigger mission. I do feel as though we need tunnel vision, channel that vision into exactly where you're going, focus on what's important. I do get this sense of being anxious around things. So I'm a Taurus, and so I'm going to use an example with my energy because that's what I'm channeling with this card. And it's kind of like things are starting to move, things are starting to go, but keep your eye on the intention because these anxieties, these fears, they're distractions. They could potentially hinder you from the progress that's starting to kick in. This is what we've been waiting for this whole time, right? It's beginning. So keep your eye on the target, keep your eye. I kind of actually want you to start looking for the future. And I feel as though the astrology for us Taurus has really been even though it's saying let's change things for the bigger picture, it has felt very much like, hey, live in the now, focus on the now, be in the now, stop looking ahead, now, stop it. And I feel like there's been this pull to stop forward thinking. Now I feel like this is saying now is the time, get that forward thinking going, get channeling the vision. How are you seeing the future now? How is it starting to shape? I do feel like in October, we are really going to start seeing what we've been working towards really actually coming into the real life, into the real world. It's been happening for quite some time, but seeing it, especially for myself, Taurus, I feel as though it's been like, I know it's coming, I know it's there, and I'm anticipating it, I can see the future, but when the freaking hell is it going to start going in my favor for things to actually start manifesting in the world? All this stuff that I just know is going to be there. And it's really made me struggle with the being in the present because there's always been things I have to be focusing on that's forward thinking, but everything's been saying, no, stop it. And I just couldn't. And now we're being told to now you can, and it's going to start being in this world. And yeah, I definitely get ideas and inspiration. This might be a really great time for you again, the creativity to start flowing again because it's here now. We're in this moment. So I'm getting inspired, I'm getting creativity, I'm getting again focusing. And I am feeling as though the straight line, so simplifying things could definitely be more beneficial. So again, with the worries and concerns, this might be where I'm channeling that. It's like feeling as though with this worries and concerns, you're going like this, whereas you need to be like this. Tunnel vision, keep going. Really great second card. Again, pay attention in reverse. New beginnings and a fresh start. So this is it. And this is why I'm saying it like it's like, this is it. We're here. It's like you're now in this new beginnings and fresh start. Oh, sorry, I just hit the mic. You're definitely channeling a lot from your past has got you to this moment. I would say that you have been trusting your intuition this whole time. And even through the bumps, the way that I'm seeing this, even though there's been highs and lows, you've been very consistent with knowing that you're going to get there. And that's exactly what I was just saying as well in terms of myself. It's like knowing that you were going to get there. You've really trusted in it. And even though there's been wavers in perhaps even in the trust and in the faith and in what the hell is going on, you still stay strong and then knowing that things are going to get to this space, which is your whole new fresh start, the new chapter. Now this card is basically saying you have completed the past chapter. You're now coming into this new fresh start, new beginnings, so new opportunities. I am definitely getting this being an inspiring time of creating something new or just feeling more creative. I do get this sense of feeling as though we've been longing for, I want to say, the return of our creativity, because when we're going through struggles, the creativity in ourselves can get squashed a little bit because it's, you're so stressed and focused elsewhere that the creative juices just do not roll. And I'm getting the opposite effect happening now. Things are finally starting to settle into the way that they should be, is what I feel with these cards. Definitely if you're moving, there could be moving. I am, but I'm sensing that here with this card. It's kind of like moving away from one security to whatever's your next adventure. So again, moving home definitely aligns with that, but this could be just a big change in your life. So something that may have felt secure to you. I do feel like this is not a new thing, but this is you moving on from that now. And soaring from it. It's like you officially are done with it. This is what I mean by new beginning. It's like we're finally here. It's the new beginning. Loving that. So this next cards is 3 cards in this position, which means they all wanted to be read together, be heard together. We have you're on the right path. That card's amazing to get. It's saying keep going. You're going in the right direction. This is the way you're supposed to be going. Have faith and trust that this is the right direction, that the choices you've made have got you to this point right now. Shield yourself. This came up for Sagittarius. If you have Sagittarius in your chart, go check out the fire reading. But this came up with the target intentions ones. And to me, it's saying that your focus needs to be where keeping your eye on the intended target, that keeping your focus there and not on the opinions of others. So shield yourself from outside influences. Again, we are trusting in the self right now. It is a time to be trusting of the self and not allowing others' influences to get in the way. And I do think that you may be harboring something from the past. For some reason, I get this sense of something negative, again, with the ups and downs and bumps and the losing faith kind of thing. Even though there's the trust there, I feel like there's something that could be negatively entering your mind. And I just feel as though it's like, just don't let that distraction get in your way. You are onto these new beginnings now. You can leave all of that behind you. You have created this situation and you have the power to change it. It's also with these 3 cards. So you're on the right path. Shield yourself, protect yourself, because you have the power to change your life right now. Now, you've created this situation, you have the power to change it, is basically reminding you, Taurus, that you are a manifestor. You are that high priestess who can create the world that you desire to live in. You can create it by making changes and being creative in your everyday life. To me, I'm getting this sense of feeling again, starting to feel your power again, coming back into that. The thing is, like, often I think Taurus, it's a natural thing for us when we are struggling through things, we feel like we've lost our power, and that filters out in the rest of our lives, right? And then we end up being in this chaos. Now I feel like we're out of that chaos now. It's not even getting out, we're out of that chaos, which means I feel we're starting to feel ourselves, and we again are getting back to that creative inspiration that helps us drive our lives into that targeted intention. So realize that, again, you have the power to now make these next steps for yourself. So realize that that's your power. Do not allow other people to influence you. This is your time. You're on the right path. So shield yourself because you're creating right now. Yeah, you get that? This is like, hey, new beginnings. Let's keep the eye on the target. Let's make things happen. This is very much a kick up the butt, Taurus. It definitely is a go, 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 straight away, straight into this reading. Nothing here has said, let's take a rest. Let's stay in that hermit mode. No, we've been there. And now we're coming out wiser. We're coming out stronger. We're coming out inspired. So this is definitely a time for us to continue down our path. Admit this was reversed as well, so pay attention. Admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. Now this card is sort of saying that like the essence of this card saying that perhaps there's things that you don't want to face and you have been kind of shoving it under the rug and not facing it. For example, when we have to let go of the past, we'll often kid ourselves saying, I'm not even holding on to the past. Yet every time somebody from the past might say something, or someone who mentions something in the past, we're potentially triggered, or we allow it to, again, consume us. We sometimes, I think it's a typical Taurian stubbornness to be like, I'm doing great. I don't know what you're talking about. And I think it's our way of really taking control of the sadness or the struggles or anything and being like, that will not control me. But in return, we are making it control us because instead of facing it and confronting it, perhaps we have just suppressed it a little bit. I do get this sense that that could be something from the past that may hold on to you, but I feel like we're moving into an era again where now, because things are coming into play and we're feeling more inspired, we can get creative again, and this shifts old energy, but it comes with taking action. And that's what this card is saying. You're now in a place where you can better your situation, you can move forward. So admit things to yourself. And actually, as I say this, because when I'm channeling you guys, I channel a lot of myself, which again will apply. And so what just popped into my head as I said that for myself, I know my Taurians readings are always very, I end up personal, giving away a lot of my personal things, but it's to help us all, right, collectively. But it's like, for example, I'm trying to learn to drive because number of reasons I can't drive yet. And I had a lesson, my first lesson with an actual teacher, because before that I have been in the car with drivers, just not actually with a teacher. And I finally got one and I bought a lesson for myself and they came to my town so I could actually do it. So my situation is I live isolated and it's just really hard for me to get lessons, never mind anything else, which is why after all these other things that have come in the way, I finally chose something for myself and I did it. And I was so amazed because they said, oh, you've done so well. You'll be driving in no time. Like he had nothing but positive things to say to me. There was no negative. He was actually surprised on how well I could drive, considering I said, treat me like I don't know anything, because I'd never had a lesson before. I literally I pick things up really easily and I know I'm a good learner. So, but I surprised myself. Like that's something I'm really insecure about and I get anxious when doing things. And that was my worry with learning to drive. And this to me, it's like, admit that I'm stopping myself from really being at the other side of that, knowing how to drive and driving everywhere. And that's because I need to make sure I keep up with these lessons, keep them coming. Let's stay on with it while I'm on a roll, right? Get it happening, complete it. And as well, like, because I'm autistic, like I struggle to complete things when I start as well. And so this is something I need to do with myself, is to admit to myself that you're hindering your own progress right now because you need to book in that second lesson. It's like that type of thing. So you know where you're hindering this progress to get to that intended target. So let's say mine was to learn how to drive, to actually be a driver. So yeah, what's yours? What's your thing? Feel free to comment below if you want to discuss it and have a conversation about this. Anyway, the next card, in reverse, to pay attention, go forward fearlessly. So exactly like what I was saying, don't allow those fears to stop you. This is saying have confidence, go forward fearlessly. You're on the right path, so you don't have to worry because this is right for you. This is meant for you. Decide to be happy now is paired with this. Now, I'm just going to talk about fears real quick with this Taurus. I do feel like this is what's come up for us a lot. Now, remember that Uranus is in Taurus, which means the planet Uranus is influencing us as a sign more dramatically than it is everyone else, and it's affecting everyone, obviously. But it's basically pushing us towards our independence, whatever that looks like for us in terms of our values, right? So when it comes to something like this, as an earth sign, as a Taurus specifically, our values are what makes us who we are. I mean, that's the same for everyone, but to me, I feel like as a Taurus myself, it's really kind of more my armor on the outside. What I value is who I am. And so I live by that. So I, for example, am bisexual. Now I'm open with that. I will talk about things like this with anybody. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. For anybody, I don't care what your religion is and what you believe. I mean, this is a safe space and we do not discriminate here. But what I'm saying is, because I live by my value, I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not to make other people comfortable, or I'm not going to deny what I am to be, even if it's like because it'll make people dislike me, you know? Like I don't care. And that's to feel like a very Taurus, like I own who I am on the outside in terms of values and security, because who we are is what makes us feel secure, right? Now, that's generally us. So when we're living in a space where we then create these fears and blockages, I feel like that is major for us Taurus, especially during this time. So what I'm saying is, like, we can create in terms of the things that we value. So I'm going to use that, for example. Now, I am seeing somebody who's opposite to that. Doesn't want anyone to know, is kind of has religious beliefs that contradict who they are. So it basically means that essentially I'm not able to be in a proud relationship, open or anything about this sort of thing, and it really kills a part of me. Now, I am just choosing to be like, you know what, that's them, that's theirs. I would never ever force anyone against it. I would never force anyone to say it. But in long-term wise, this is not going to work for me, right? Get off, because that's me living true to my value. Sorry, the cat was about to walk on the keyboard. I don't want impressing things. And anyway, going off track with all of this value thing. But what I'm saying here is, when we care so much about something, we then create fears, right? We create things that what ifs, buts, and maybes. So in terms of me with relationship-wise in that sort of way, this decide to be happy now, it contradicts my situation. But you know what I mean? You create things like, what if this person never ever wants to live forward? What am I going to do in terms of that? How am I going to meet someone new? I don't want to meet someone new. And so we're creating all these things that prevent us from just being happy now in this moment with what we've got now, right? Now, talking about fears, they are things that we create that are not real. They are literally figments of our imaginations, the ifs, the whats, the buts, the maybes, that don't actually exist in present time. They may come into fruition, but they may not. And the likelihood that they will is actually a lot less than the other. I do want to remind you that it is our natural instinct to go with the negative because we are self-protecting, but it prevents us from actually ever truly experiencing true happiness or really getting and kicking our goals, because we've allowed the part that says this might not work to win over the this might work, right? Decide to be happy now is saying choose happiness, let go of the fears, and just do what makes you happy. If you're worried about making the right choices, and this is definitely resonating with me so much, like there's not one area of my life that is not all over the place, right? Uranus is kicking my butt. And the thing is, I'm so worried about what if this continues that I'm like been stuck in this space. I'm feeling really positive with, especially with this reading and the moving forward, like things are starting to happen now that I've needed to happen for like nearly 2 years now, right? But I know that deciding to be happy now and live in this moment and start choosing things that feed my happiness rather than being stuck in something that's feeding the unhappiness, right? And this is what this is saying. Go forward fearlessly because everything ahead of you is good. That's what it says, favorable outcome. That's what that card is. Decide to be happy now is like live in the moment. Because again, I want to remind you that we don't always have tomorrow and people that we love might not be there. Live now, be happy now. Let go of fear now is literally the next. You have 2 cards in a row, stop fear. So I feel like there's a lot of anxiety and worries. And I think it comes down to how shit the last 2 years have been. That it's just like when something good starts happening, it's like, whoa. And this is trauma that I feel like a lot of us are working with. And because of Uranus in Taurus, I know I went a little bit all over the place. I may have lost you a little bit there. What I'm saying is because of all this, it's creating a chaos and it can make us feel distrusting of our lives and ourselves. And we have to realize again that we are creating our situations. And it's about learning that now, that you can create a better situation. But it comes by trusting in you and your life and deciding to choose happiness now rather than waiting for when something happens. And that's definitely something that I am working on for sure. Now, in reverse, again, this wants you to hear this. The person you're asking about is trustworthy. Now, this card literally says, no matter what's going on in this situation in regards to this person, and it does mean about a person in a situation. This can be absolutely anyone. So whoever comes to mind, it's probably about that situation. It's saying that the person comes from a place of love and that they're trustworthy. Now, this does not mean to say that, yes, that person's for you. Yes, you can trust in them and lean on them. It just means that they're coming from a place of love. And I feel like I just need to say that this here, because of what I said over here. It's kind of like understanding that even though regardless of your situation, the person is going through their place and they are coming from a place of love. So I will use my situation as an example. The person is not being who they are and, being opposed to certain things because of me or the connection to me. It's their own things that they're going through that's leading their life, right? And thinking like that on your situation, that they're going through what they need to go and understanding that they are trustworthy. They're not here to disrespect you. It's saying that there's no hidden agenda here. So if that's where your mind was going, this could be the energy to protect yourself from, is that understanding that it's not meant to be negatively influencing you. So again, focus on your intended target and don't let that be your distraction. And that is something for me because, again, being autistic, I do fixate on a lot of things, especially that's not in alignment with how I believe and the way that I think things should be. It is really hard for me not to have that be my only focus. Because I've had that much going on in all areas. There's no way I've been able to focus on one thing anyway. But like, it's my fight within me that does that, because I need stability, I need routine, I need things to go and work the way that they are supposed to. So when they don't, even when I come into a peace within it, it is really hard for me to stay in that peace until it fixes itself, until it goes the way it's supposed to go, right? So that's my really hard to work with, the way that my brain runs and the way that my values are. But it's saying to me, if I was doing this reading as a personal reading, that everyone's coming from a place of love. So to kind of allow them the time and space that they need in their selves. But again, focus on your happiness. And if that's not in alignment with that, it's not your fault. Detach from the situation. It is definitely saying, this comes after that. It's like, let go of fear, live in the moment, be happy now. It's saying, people are coming from a place of love, but detach from the situation. Your focus does not need to be on these things. Because again, you're being told to keep an eye on your target. And this is in the center is saying, decide to be happy now. Detach from a situation that's going to cause you negativity. I do feel like you need your focus on things that, again, are positively stimulating, that are inspiring, that are giving you direction. So if things that feel like they're hindering you, that's not where your attention should be. And actually detaching from it and seeing again it from a nicer perspective, like detach from a situation, saying you're in too deep, you're feeling too strong in this and it's consuming you. It's saying detach from it and realize again, this card also says that everybody involved comes from a place of love, and it's not a negative card at all. But you're probably in your feels because everything is a little all over the place. This is in reverse. Be kind, be gentle with yourself. Now this card says forgive, like there's another card that literally is known of the same meaning, which is forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong. It's saying that you're doing the best that you can. It's saying to nurture yourself. Now I said to my mum, I got really upset over something the other day about, and I just said, like, I just feel like I can't heal. Every time that I feel like I'm in a space of time, like a pause where I can try and take time to do self-love things and get myself in a good place, another hard snowball will come and whack me right in the face that hurts more than the freaking last time. And it was just like a constant, like I haven't had this space to heal. This to me is saying, you're now getting to that space of healing. It's going to be vulnerable because you're now able to actually focus. Because this is saying new beginnings, you're moving away from that past energy. So be gentle with yourself and understand that it may bring a lot of vulnerabilities up. And this is why you're shielding yourself and keeping your eyes on the target, because the focus is on where you need it to be in order for you to get this happiness right now. But understand that, again, it may be raw, it may be vulnerable. It may help to write about your thoughts and feelings, which again is indicating to me that you're going to have a lot of thoughts and feelings. And it may be this relief. You now begin to allow yourself to, again, grieve anything that you've been through. I can literally list about 10 things at least on the spot that I need to grieve and move on from. And knowing that I'm going to have the time for that. It is anxiety-inducing, but also relieving that I might actually finally get this moment to move past everything that I've been through over the last few years. So see that positive in that. But if you need to get your thoughts and feelings out, do that. Now with this card, even though it says write your thoughts and feelings down, definitely feel like that can be really great for a lot of people. For myself, my archetype, basically me talking through things, makes me realize things for myself, which is why I'm really good at guidance and advice and that kind of thing, and why it led me towards tarot and doing this for a living. Because when I talk, I understand what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and it's often why I'm doing readings. I'll come away from a reading and I go, I need to know that as well. Like I say things and it's what I need to know. My archetype has to speak words to make sense for myself, which means I don't get my guidance from others. I get the guidance from my own inner wisdom through talking. There's more to it than that. That's generally my archetype does that naturally. It's our way of processing. So that might be working for you as well. It might work to write a song if you're musically gifted. It might help to speak to a friend. Just anything that's your way of getting things out of your head, your vulnerabilities out, sitting under the moon and talking and writing. Actually, this is what you should do. You should literally get under that full moon or under the moon and of the stars any night and literally write down everything. Cry, drink wine, drink a hot drink, anything that gets you feeling vulnerable and just releasing everything. Burn that motherfucker thing after you've written it all down. Read it aloud if you can. Burn it, let it go. That's literally, you've done several things here. You've let go of your fears, you're letting go of the past, you're admitting all these things that you're feeling, and you're acting accordingly. You're shielding yourself because you're releasing things that are causing you negative. And you are creating change. This is your new beginnings. It's you focusing on you, your intended target of healing, and yeah, getting out your thoughts and feelings and being kind to yourself. Letting yourself cry is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. And I'll say this because you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Release the sadness or tension, or it might not even be sadness. It could be anger and frustration. I literally cry whenever I feel any heavy emotion. And it is a gift you can give yourself to have that vulnerability and to sit with it and feel it, express it and love it. Because that's generally your raw, authentic self coming through. So I feel this shiz, and it's hard. Goodbye. Now I can feel good again. Focus on my happiness right now and move forward. So anyway, Taurus, I hope that makes sense to you. Thank you for being here. Stay if you have Virgo in your chart or you just want to be nosy. And I'll begin the Virgo. Let me write down that timestamp. Okay, 26, 28. Okay, Virgo, welcome to your October reading. I am going to shuffle. So I'm using my Archangel Michael cards because I am moving this month, as I said in the beginning. They're the only deck that I have out. I'm not doing a specific layout. I'm doing my readings. I'm doing the layout. Oh, hang on a minute. You have 3 cards here. That one first, then that one, and then that one. Okay. My layouts that I did when I used to do my readings, I used to use these cards for all of my readings that I did back in the day when I was offering personal readings and doing all my lives. Okay, guys, Virgos. Your first card is in reverse, which means pay attention. Just gonna have a sip of my drink. Oh, it's so good. I got these new drinks. This is toffee apple. I can't remember the brand, but it's a sugar-free one anyway. My mom just told me to try it, so I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. I'm not that big on sugar-free because I'm an earth sign and we like our treats, right? But it's actually really, really good. You should try it. I got it from Kohl's. Okay, I don't trust your feelings, Virgo. This card, instantly I'm taken to its chest. Now, I do feel as though you feel a lot, but you're not very good at expressing it at the moment, because I'm getting this sense of, again, holding all that you dear close to your heart, but I do get the sense of resistance as though you're not fully committed to something that you want or that you desire. It's like, I get this feeling like you want it and you love it, but also there's something in you that's telling you that you can't really have it maybe, or your actions are not in alignment with you being all in, if that makes sense. So if this was a relationship, I would say that you may be trying to self-sabotage by not fully committing, or there's some limiting belief in you that gets to a certain point where you end things or move on because X, Y, Z, many different reasons, right? Whatever your reasons are, personal to yourself. I do feel like there's a lot of potential, I would say, with the person you're with if you're in a relationship, because it's like it's behind you and it's pushing you forward and growing with you. So I do feel like if you are in a relationship and you are happy, but you feel, I would have a look. Are you self-sabotaging, right? Have a think. If it's not love, it's just more, I feel as though something that's been coming with you and growing with you. I would say over the last 2 years, while all the astrology and everything is all over the place, right? While it's been chaos, something's grown with you during this time. In large part, it's yourself. Even in relationships, it's yourself that's growing and changing, which is why now's the time to realize, how am I thinking? How am I feeling? This could really indicate, I'm getting this vibe for earth signs that it's a time for us to notice things and heal that wound. And this could be very much something to you, something you may be sabotaging. Now, this card doesn't generally mean that. So touching on that, honor and trust your feelings means you're feeling something and you need to honor that and trust in yourself, trust in you. Now, as I say that, again, with the guidance I just said, how are you feeling? Are you honoring it or are you running away from it? That's the questions I want you to ask. Anyway, next card in reverse. Favorable outcome. It's a really good positive card. This means you're on the right path. There's a favorable outcome here for you. Let's have a look what she's given me. Definitely feel as though there's something where you are growing something in your life. Like there's literally an area of your life that you are trying to expand on. And I feel like that's where you're focused. Now, you're trying to balance it with something else. I do feel like this is coming through really, channeling through really weirdly. So if you look on this imagery, the lighting it's working for me a bit now. The lighting's on and off because it's a bit overcast today. This to me, so your focus is on this one, which is great. I feel like that's something you're growing. This over here feels like the past. Now at the moment, it is you balancing that. And I actually feel like with your focus being on the positive and what you're growing, you're going to bring it into balance with, again, who you are, your essence. But I feel as though you hold on really tightly to where you've been, like core values or something that's got you through maybe relationships or maybe in life. It's just always got you through by being that way. Now, I think you know that that's not going to continue to work and keep, I guess, something long term. Whether it be keep your happiness long term, bring you joy. I just get this sense that you know that your focus needs to be on what you're growing. However, I just get this sense of something being quite heavy from your past that, again, is with you. And this is why I want you to realize that there is a favorable outcome to this. This card is all positive. So what I'm saying is not a bad thing at all in any regards. But again, these cards give us guidance, right? And I would say that you need to release some of the heaviness of the past, realizing that it is not going to bring you anything. There's no good there in that anymore. I feel like by releasing it, you're opening yourself up to that favorable outcome because you're doing the work that you need to do to create that balance in your life so that you have everything you want, but you're still being true to yourself and honoring the person that you are. Because as I say that, I feel like maybe there's this thing where you're like, but if I don't, like maybe I am self-sabotaging, right? But if I don't do that, then I'm not being true to myself and, being this passionate person that's all independent. It's like, no, you can be a passionate, independent person and have a partner by your side the whole time. And that person loves that you're independent. That person loves that you know how to say no, that you like to have a good time too outside of the relationship. That person loves all that about you, but they just want commitment. They want to know that you're their safe person, that you're not going anywhere, that you're not just going to run off with somebody else as soon as you've got a better option. Something like that. I feel like that's what's channeling through a lot for some of you. It could really be in regard to relationships. It's like a pattern. It's like noticing a pattern, like, have you done that? Have you been with a person until the point of meeting someone new? And even though you love that person so much, this other person, it feels less, I would say less dangerous, like maybe like in the sense of they're not going to ask you to commit or change a part of yourself. So you're just going to move on to someone new because they don't ask for those things because it's the early stages and there's no pressure. If you want a relationship with no pressure, you're not actually wanting to grow and change with anybody because when we meet somebody and they challenge who we are, that's exactly a partner. That's someone who's like, okay, this person wants to grow and change with me. That's exciting. Someone accepts you exactly as you are and they don't want to, and I'm not saying you don't want to be with someone that's going to change you. What I'm saying, if they don't want to be like, hey, let's move in together, let's do this, even though it's something that you've not done before, you've not been open to, that's exciting. They want to grow something with you and it changes parts of you. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what people in our lives do. That's what friends do. That's what brothers and sisters do. They help shape us into better versions of ourselves, help us acknowledge things that are not working for us anymore. And I think as humanity, sometimes we've got into this place where it's like, if other things try and shift us quicker than we're ready, that we feel ready because we're so comfortable in this contemplatant little space, yeah, we run away. And I'm just getting a sense that that could potentially be some trauma that some of you are working for. So 2 of these next cards are in reverse. You've got 3 in a row, all to be read together. The first one is upright, but the second 2 are reversed. Interesting. So you're on the right path. You literally have 2 cards that say that. The favorable outcome and you're on the right path both indicate that you're heading towards good things. Let me just have a sip. You're heading towards good things. Now this you're on the right path card, it's very much a nurturing card. It's kind of like you're being guided this way. Things are going the way they should, and it might feel a little vulnerable, but that is the whole point. We're here guiding you. In reverse, you had your inner guidance is real and trustworthy, which means your guardians and your signs, whatever, your guardians and your angels and whoever your spirit team are, they are here pushing you, helping send you the signs that you need. So it's kind of like trust in the signs, trust in your feelings, trust in how you're going, which is the first card. Honor and trust your feelings, right? Trusting all of these things that you can't see with your eyes, you know, you feel it. It's intuition. It's intuitive. That's guiding you. You can trust in that. You and your loved ones are safe. This is, again, reassurance to release your worries in regards to your family and your friends. You may be potentially acting a certain way because you're worried about judgment from friends and family, and this says they're going to love you regardless. Stop worrying about other people's opinions. Live your life authentically, because if you're living for someone else's opinions, you're going to die living for someone else's opinions, right? Whether it's now or in 30, 50 years, that's literally how you're going to have lived your life, because that's what the astrology is like right now. It's saying, do you really want to live like this forever? No, because it's not been the best life so far, is it? Let's change it. Okay? I know it seems pretty cruel, but that's how it is. It's like, literally like, bitch, let's fix this. You're on the right path. So again, you're heading towards all this good stuff for yourself. Again, holding your hand. This is a card where they're literally holding hands, and it's like being nurturing, saying, look, I'm leading you away. I'm leading you this way. Let's go. So trust in that. Keep your eyes on the intended, keep your eyes on your targeted intention. I can never read this card right for some reason. This card has come up for quite a few readings, so it's about saying stay focused on what you want and what you desire. Keep your eyes on the targeted intention is saying don't allow the noise around you to dictate where you're going. This is your story. Make sure that you focus on what's important, not the little drizzly things around you. So the next card, we have 3 cards in this position again. This is your life's purpose. This is feeling very much similar to the honor and trust your feelings in terms of holding things close to you. I do feel like there is definitely work in terms of values. And again, I feel like sometimes all values are stuck with you. You need to rub all of those, wash yourself. And by that, you can literally get in the rain and release certain things into the rain if you're into that kind of thing. This is paired with energy healing work, so that would definitely work. Getting in the water and allowing it to wash away any negative sort of energy from you and your chakra. If you are into that kind of thing, that definitely could be very beneficial for you. This is your life's purpose is another card, and you've had, 3 cards now saying you're on the right path. So this is a really good reading, Virgo. Energy healing work means that you need to focus on the self and realize that there is something unaligned in you. And this again could be exactly what I was saying in terms of values, of something having to drop away and let go of the past. And this helps by going within. So if you do meditate, just find a way that's where you find your peace. That'll help you go through the shadow work. This is paired with forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong, which is a card that says you're doing the best that you can with the things that you've been dealt with. So if you are getting through some of that hard trauma of just societal things that are built up in you that's preventing you from, again, being authentic or from breaking cycles, not preventing, just making it harder, a struggle, you need to realize that you are doing the best that you can through this, and being vulnerable is perfect for you because it's going to help you see exactly what's important to you. I do want to say, like, if in regard to relationships, because this is really coming through quite a lot for you, Virgo, if something's making you feel raw and emotional, it's probably because you really, really want it. So honor and trust your feelings. If it's making you feel hurt, thinking about potentially letting something go because you're scared, fears that we bring up, that's potentially not about the other person. Can you live without that other person? Can you really imagine a life without them? Can you imagine not being able to lean on them during these times when you're feeling that raw? Is that the person that you think, I want to have a drink with this person, I want to snuggle with this person, I want to sit under the stars with this person? Then that person's not the problem. The relationship's not the problem. Maybe it is, if the relationship's the problem. But why? Is it because one person's more involved than the other? Is the other person more giving than the other? Where's the imbalance? Feel vulnerable in that. Realize that you're not the problem, because you're not the problem. Forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong. But if you see something that you're doing that's creating a problem, that's what you should be working on. That's where the targeted intention should be on. It's getting past that and working through that. And if you have a good person, they'll be by your side understanding that. And sometimes when we are a lot more in a better space, like there's many of us, like I'm one of these people, someone's struggling, if they're struggling with me, I can put me aside, I can detach from that. I am autistic, so I have this ability to detach from my own personal feelings very easily, and help somebody else get through that. And I feel like this person could do that for you, is drop how they are in order, like drop not how they are, but drop like their trauma to help you through yours. And I think that should be something, again, you realize if they do that for you, to then when you're feeling more solid, be that person for them as well. I do think everyone needs that little reminder that when you're in a partnership, we take turns. That a partnership is not this person's my rock, the through and through. I've been that rock for my ex and been it through a lot of things. And when it came to my turn needing a rock, we're now exes. Because sometimes some people just can't understand that they also, somebody can't be a rock forever. Sometimes they need to go through their vulnerable things, and when you start showing them that you can't be that, that's the imbalance in a relationship. And that's why I need you to realize there could be some heaviness. So keep that in mind. Maybe your partner is the one that's struggling as well, and this could in turn make you feel what you're feeling, and you need to forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong, but be a rock for them. Use your imagination, you'll see the answer. This is very much similar to your inner guidance is real and trustworthy, in terms of allow the inspiration to flow through you. But be creative. Using your imagination means you're not doing things black and white and straightforward. Nothing is black and white. Everything is rainbow. And we've tried to paint the world black and white for such a long time that realizing that things are rainbow, that there's never one way of doing things. There's not this is just how it works. There are many different ways, shapes, sizes of absolutely everything. Look at religions. There's not just one religion. There's never been one true religion. They'll all claim that I'm the one true religion, but there's not. It's a colorful rainbow of religion, right? There's never one race. There's not one superior race. There is a rainbow of people out there. Sexualities. Rainbow sexualities. We all know that, right? Rainbow. And this is the thing, society and our nations have tried so much to paint things black and white because we wanted a law system that made it easier to tell people this is right from wrong. But we've come to this era now where we know morally what's right or wrong without needing such a harsh structure that dictates who you can love, what you wear, where you wear it, how you look, whether or not you do this and that to your body. Come into an era now where we appreciate the differences and we love the differences. Just like once that was a time when people did appreciate the differences of people in tribes. You'll see tribes around the world that still exist today that accept that everybody has their place. One person is very hardworking. That's their spirit. They have a very hardworking spirit that loves to go out and provide for the community. While another person is much more relaxed. They might like to cook, so they cook for the community. They like to bake bread, and that's their little area of this community. It's not bigger or smaller than anybody else's, but it's not as this person. This person might be full on with theirs, and this person's like a delicate flower. We're all different parts of the rainbow. We're all different parts of the world and like of the earth itself. And I don't know why I'm going on this tangent with you. It's just literally just come to me and I just realized I'm on this tangent. So sorry guys if I'm losing you a little bit. And I think that you need to realize that you don't have to be something that is black or white and that looks like everybody else, because you never were to begin with, but maybe you tried to make yourself be that. And now it's this realization that you're not. This card's basically saying get creative. Another card again that is about trusting your guidance. This is pay attention to your dreams. It was reversed. This has come through for a lot of us. We've had really vivid dreams happening. I literally had 5 nightmares. Like every time I went to sleep the other night, I had a nightmare. And some of them were really bad where it took me so long to fall asleep. Like it was so scary. I woke up and checked all my house doors and everything and checked on my kids. Because it was that bad in the nightmare. And this is happening to quite a lot of people at the moment. Now, trust in how you're feeling in them, what's the message is. It's often not the actual dream for many people. It's just how you're feeling in them, and there's subconscious things. I do feel like, personally, I think that dreams should be interpreted by the person having them, because it's not necessarily the content. It is more about, again, what that means to you. But yeah, there's a lot of messages in our dreams that can open up insight to how we're feeling, and because you're being guided to honor and trust your feelings and go within to do the energy healing, I do think there's a lot within you that needs to be seen during this time. Make a commitment. Definitely in relationships you need to commit. I would say there's nothing here that's saying leave. If you are literally at that point, I just get this sense that some people might be. I mean, if you've been thinking about it for some time, or if there's red flags, there's toxicness in a relationship, leave always. That's always my guidance here. However, I feel like there's not, for the most part, for the reading, for who this is for. Because I feel like it's saying, commit, make further commitment. But this is more about bigger goals. Make a commitment to outcomes, make a commitment, again, to self-expression, to self-work, make a commitment to the self to be who you are authentically, whoever that is, whatever shape, size that looks like for you. Guarded and protected next. Does this need to be protected of your own energy? I feel like, again, do your inner work and focus on you. Protect yourself. You do not need to share this with the world at this time, because you're going to explore your options next. I feel as though it's a time for, again, you to do this self-healing work. There are actions and steps for you to take within this. It's not about going within and being hermit. Even though the hermit card can represent coming out of that, I feel as though it's actually more of you going within and putting it into practice. So, for example, I'm learning that I am self-sabotaging. So you've learned that you're self-sabotaging. So next time when you say something, you go, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm projecting because I'm feeling hurt. It's like putting things into practice so that you're actually actioning it, and then you're showing the universe that you are actually really on it, like generally committing to this process, and you're protecting your energy because you are showing people, I'm not being defensive anymore. I don't want to be defensive. But it's a natural reaction for me. And I just get this time of being really real growth here in terms of relationships and relationship with yourself. Explore your options means take your time. There's no rush to jump into anything. And hey, I've talked about the rainbow and the spectrum of things, and I think it might be a time for you to explore different areas of your life differently, which means there's many choices. Exploring means, like when, you could be this age, but when you're a teenager and you explore who you are, you put different parts of yourself in the world differently. Like, hey, I'm really into rock music. I'm going to start wearing this and that. Like, your parents think it's a phase, and people around you are like, hey, you were wearing pink stuff yesterday. It's like, yeah, but I didn't feel like that really showed who I am. Do that now. Don't care if you're 50, if you're 70, or whatever age. Start doing things that's going to make you feel better. Explore it. If it doesn't stick, it doesn't feel like you really, but you did it, you will feel so much better anyway. There's no way that you would explore anything and come out of that feeling worse. So feel free to do that. That would definitely be my guidance for you, Virgo, is to be a little bit less controlling of yourself and be flexible in exploring things. I do feel like this is naturally happening to you anyway, but it does feel like it could feel as though you're like, whoa, in here too. So that's something to be conscious of. So I hope that makes sense for you, Virgo. Feel free to comment below, either just clarifying on your situation, or if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Okay, guys, let me put this time step down for Capricorn. 48:49. Okay, Capricorn, welcome to your October reading. I'll begin shuffling. Your first card is in reverse, which means pay attention in this deck. And there's one here as well to come with that. So funny because the card that's come up for here is definitely, for me, I feel as though these two together, it's like a typical Capricorn guidance I would say to any Capricorn, just based on my experience with a Capricorn. But I'll mention it when I get there. I just saw the card, I was like, okay guys, I think that's it. And then that one, just to be sure. And nicely. So your first card is in reverse. Pay attention with the Archangel Michael cards. It's time to leave an unhealthy situation. So this card basically says now is the time. So don't procrastinate on it. Don't think I'll do it next Wednesday. Maybe next month when I have this, I can do that. You don't have the one card which would extremely clarify that for me that's right now, but it's basically saying it's time, okay? This could be breaking bad habits. It's time for you to change the way that you've been doing things. Maybe you've allowed yourself to fall into bad habits again, something like that. It's like now is the time for you to start choosing the right things for yourself again. It's time to get yourself organized. Let go of fear now is next. I will go back onto that, but with that being here, there may be many things, many reasons for why you've allowed yourself to come into natural unhealthy patterns. The last few years has been really brutal, right? I'm there, I'm with you. It's been absolutely terrible. And that's natural now that you might have sank into bad habits that's self-soothing, self-comforting. It's now time to break that cycle and get back into the norm is what I want to say. But I feel like don't be trying to recreate something that was. You're now trying to better oneself. You've allowed yourself this time to be in the comforts. It might have created natural patterns that are unhealthy for you. So now you're ready to come out of that and leave that behind you. This can be, if you're in a toxic relationship, leave that now. If you have people in your life that's creating toxic energy, let go of that. It is saying let go of things. It's unhealthy for you. Let go, move on. Make better food choices. What I say to anybody who wants to start making better choices for themselves, sleep pattern, make sure you're checking in on the sleep, eating, drinking, exercise. Those things alone is going to help you to better your life instantly just by inserting those things into your everyday. It's little things like that that will filter out into your life and make you prepared to face anything, whatever it may be, the good, the bad. Let go of fear now. So fears are limitations that we create for ourselves, the ifs, the whats, the buts, the maybes that prevent us from doing anything. Realize that and remember that. And saying do it now. You can't keep living in this space. It's time for you. Again, this card is a keep moving forward. Don't let things prevent you from moving forward. I'm going to say for you, Capricorn, it's saying you know what needs to change, you know what needs to better. And I think actually you might be trying to justify the behavior that is unhealthy for you with whatever. It's time for you to release that. Those are coming through for me as fears of blockages, as excuses. And it's time for you to let go of that. It's not serving you. And I think you know, I know you know. This card is telling me like you know that. So let's get to work. These next two cards are together, but one of these, which is the second of the two, is the card that I feel I laughed because it's what I used to say all the time to a Capricorn. So the first card is have confidence, which is a card that's the same as let go of fear, have confidence. It's let go of any worries, move forward confidently. I kind of get a sense of the whole, and I don't like this saying like fake it till you make it, but it's more about it's time to reprogram their way of thinking, which pairs with this next card anyway, of reprogramming how you're thinking to make it be in alignment with where you actually want to be. And a lot of people who come across as confident, they might not feel like that on the inside, but they don't let it stop them on the outside. That's the fake it till they make it side that I want you to harness. With that letting go of fears, it doesn't happen overnight. So we have these doubts, right? It's okay to have doubts, but still go forward anyway. For example, say a job interview, you're scared. What if I don't get it? What if I mess up the interview? What if they blah, 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 blah? All those what ifs. Go to that interview anyway and just do it because you won't know the answer until you've done it anyway, right? This paired with positive thoughts create positive results. Now, I always used to say this to a Capricorn. It's like, just try and be a bit more positive. Like, they're always negative. So anything happened, they would see the negative side. Now, this is naturally how the human brain works. We are programmed to see the negative first over the positive, which is why fears work so easily. Because when we have a fear, even though the outcome is much more probable to have the positive outcome than the negative, we will believe the negative and not go for something because of those negatives. There are what ifs, and we're worried about the what if happening more than the positive. Because of course you're going to worry about what the bad things rather than the good things. But what if the probability is higher that the good thing happens, which is actually the probability most of the time, than the negative thing? You would go for it because you would know it. But because you don't know, it might be bad, so you don't do it. And then you prevent yourself on the good things. It's time, these two cards together with everything we've had so far is about changing the way that you're thinking and realizing that, again, this potentially is your bad cycle and pattern. So have confidence, change the way that those noises in your head or pictures, I don't know, everybody thinks differently, don't they? I find that very strange. People don't think in their own head and talk to themselves, but apparently that's not normal. But yeah, basically changing the negative self-talk or whatever it is that comes through for you in terms of doubts and, again, fears that are blocking you, you are really urged to let go of that. These next two are in reverse, and I would say these are the big things. This is literally saying, let go of your worries and concerns. Your children are watched over by angels. Your home is protected by angels, which means if you have children, you don't need to worry about them. They are safe, they are protected, they are guarded during this time. Your home is protected by angels means your core value, everything will be okay. If you are moving, it's basically saying everything will work out. I do think that you're saying goodbye to a home for some of you, Capricorn. For here, it feels as though it's toxic. This could be what you're letting go of now, and it's time for you to do that. But again, these cards literally represent releasing your worries and stresses and concerns around these things. It's saying everything in these areas are good, are protected. So you don't need your focus to be here. Your focus, again, needs to be elsewhere because, again, if you're worrying about things that don't need to be worried about, they are fears and things that are blocking your progress. Now, these two are also reversed. Actually, your whole reading is reversed until the last card, so pay attention. Honor and trust your feelings, guarded and protected. You need to honor your feelings. Over here, I get this sense there's a lot to do internal work with, again, I feel as though you've suppressed a lot and maybe acting upon things that have happened to you that instead of processing it normally, you're actually, again, it's like you've got into bad patterns and cycles to prevent yourself from actually having to trust and honor your feelings. So I do get the sense of you being quite guarded and protected over yourself at the moment. And again, your sword is out with this card. Now, this comes through to me in different ways, but for you, it's very much coming as though you're on defense, which I would say that you are feeling a whole lot of stuff. And even if you feel as though you're going, yeah, I'm over that. I feel you didn't feel it. You didn't process it. So it's still there. Which means when one bad thing happens, see, this is what happens when we suppress things. So we can successfully suppress things for a very long time. And we can be like, I'm fine, I'm living the best life, right? But when one bad thing happens, and this is why I feel it can be a natural trait for Capricorn, because of the way you're driven. You're hardworking, you are driven to sometimes be perfectionists. There's a lot of Capricorns that are perfectionists. And it's because you're driven to be kind of have a very good core value and work ethic in all areas. It's not just about career life, like in relationships, your work ethic, and that is like, I must do my part in this and be like a cog in the machine, right? And that means when feelings come into it, that's can be hard for you to balance. I do feel like it's kind of a trauma that can come with that energy if you have not naturally put these little cogs in that method. And these little cogs are processing your feelings and emotional. So when we suppress these things, when one little thing that goes wrong or bad happens in our life, it's like a tornado and we are negative. It's like a big explosion. Now, the Capricorn I'm talking to and referring to, that I always said that when they were feeling any big feeling, like I'm an empath and I feel the energy of a room anyway. And so I couldn't be around that person when they felt it because it's just so toxic and so consuming, for me, it made me feel that way. It made me feel anxious. It made me feel uncomfortable. And it was just like, I just need to just leave that person alone when they felt like that. And I felt it's because there's not a way of processing, so they would expel all of that energy. And it's not even in the actions, it's just how they felt to be around when they were feeling those things. And I do really think that the core thing, part of that is that they never really truly fully processed something to the point where they could naturally let it out slowly and releasing it. It was a big feeling straight away. And it could be as literally as just, breaking a glass or a bad news coming through. Just absolutely anything which would be seen as a negative thing to happen would have a big reaction. And this is what I'm feeling here, that there's things that need to be seen and not be put up behind a wall and protecting it, like overprotecting. It needs to be released into the world and let go of. And I feel like you need to take your time on this. Now, this is influenced by this next card, which is take your time making this decision. Now, this is coming through for these readings as quite a positive feel to the card. It really feels as though it's relaxing and refreshing, like a big relief. Now, this is saying that you don't need to rush into anything and make decisions right now. I do feel like your focus should not be on big decisions, like, I don't know, life-changing things. You shouldn't be rushing into those things because there's work that needs to be done before you make a life-changing decision. But it's kind of as though you have options, so take relief in that. But this card gives me a peace in that having time, which is quite interesting. Explore your options. The fact that these two come straight after each other. Take your time making this decision, and explore your options, saying that you have time and to be creative as well and to explore. From this feeling peaceful, it's now feeling like an opportunity. So I do feel like there's lots of opportunities ahead of you. And I feel as though it comes from you leaving behind the past, opens you up to new possibilities. I do think you're going through a releasing and transformation of shedding the old, and you're going through the part now that allows you to do that. Now, the next two cards, prayer will help you with the situation and make a commitment. The prayer will help you with the situation is basically having faith, whatever that looks like to you, whether it's, trusting in the universe, trusting in your gods, yourself, whatever that looks like to you. It's basically go within. These three cards are saying you have time, explore yourself, explore what this is, and listen to the signs. Make a commitment. So it's kind of like, to me, all of this is leading you towards what you want, and then you can commit to that outcome. I do want you to commit to an outcome from the very beginning anyway, but I feel like you don't need to focus on absolutely anything else and all these worries in regards to what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. The focus is on feelings and breaking through your cycles and letting go and starting a grieving process and making a commitment to whatever your desire comes later. It comes down here. I do feel like it could be that you're wanting a new relationship, and maybe you've been going for a breakup for some time. For those people, this is saying you've got that soulmate energy right here, because eternal love is saying that it's there. But this card also can be about self-love. The eternal love is regaining that love within yourself. And again, by starting doing all of the good stuff for yourself can help rekindle the relationship that you have with yourself, because getting in those comfortable, toxic, bad habits is really negative to ourselves, and it starts to sometimes really disliking the person that we are, and it keeps us in that cycle of needing to self-comfort, so overeating or addictions, doing things that we know is bad for our health, or that adds to the problems that we're having. We know that, but then we feel bad, and then we do it again to self-soothe, but then we're back in the guilt because we've done that bad thing, and we continue to do it to self-soothe. You know what I mean? Like, it keeps you in that vicious cycle. So by breaking that and committing to breaking that, for some of you that are going through addiction, this is a great reading for that. But it's like admitting it, have confidence, changing the way you're thinking, you choosing now to be the time for you to battle this. Making a commitment is a very solid card that's saying commit to this outcome. When you do that wholeheartedly, if this is really truly what you want, you will have that. And this is the confirmation. Eternal love. Now, this is also a supportive card saying that you have that support. It's saying that if you are longing for a relationship that is whatever love looks like to you, that's there for you. And I would say come the end of the year, things will be looking much more positive for you in terms of what you want your life to look like. It's not going to all happen in a month and you're going to come out of October and, your whole life's put together. This is beginning this process, but by the end of October, the steps are in place. But again, take your time because you are not being told to do it. Like, you're actually being told to not make any major choices in this time, like buying a new house or moving to a different country. I was trying to think of big things. This is saying taking your time for those decisions. So I hope that makes sense for you, Capricorn. So again, feel free to comment in the comments below to just give me a little insight on how this might apply to you, or if you have any questions in regards to your reading. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being patient with me and doing this big reading. It just cuts down a lot of time for me recording while I'm about to go for a big move. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next month.